Okay. Hi, today I'm going to start 3D geometry. Already you have learned in 11th standard Introduction to 3D Geometry. So whatever you have learned in 11th standard 3D Geometry, just I'm going to explain briefly in this class. And also I'm going to explain how to find centroid of a triangle and tetrahedron and problems on locus. Okay. So in 2D geometry, see, consider the line x dash o x and draw a line perpendicular to x dash o x and passing through o. So let the name of this line is y o y dash. That means we are considering two mutually perpendicular lines which are intersecting at o. Okay, so already you know that x dash o x is what? X axis. Y o y dash is what? Y axis. And their intersecting point is what? Origin. Suppose if you consider a point P here. So here if you observe x axis and y axis divide the plane into how many parts? 4 parts. Each part is called what? Quadrant. So I'm taking a point P x comma y in first quadrant. Okay, so from P you draw a perpendicular on x-axis. From P you draw a perpendicular on x-axis. So OM will be what? X. PM will be what? Y. So here OM denotes what? It is OM is equal to X denotes what? This X denotes algebraic distance between O and M. And this PM is equal to Y. This Y denotes the algebraic distance between the points P and M. So what is the difference between distance and algebraic distance? Distance cannot be negative, but algebraic distance may be negative also. So depending on the quadrant, depending on the quadrant, depending on the quadrant, that algebraic distance may be negative or positive. Okay, suppose if you take the point P or point Q here, say minus x comma y. Why we have taken minus x comma y? So why can't we take x comma y? Why we have taken x coordinate is negative? Here a reason is there. I will explain that. So from Q you draw a perpendicular on x-axis. Suppose it is m dash. Then this OM dash becomes minus x, then QM dash becomes y. So why it is a negative? Because here M dash we have taken on which axis? Negative x axis. So then this OM dash distance. So algebraic distance between O and M dash will become a negative. Here I am assuming that x and y are some positive values. Okay, then now what is the algebraic distance between O and M dash? Here it is minus x. Suppose if you take a point here, say R, then you draw the perpendicular. So this length, this distance becomes what? Y. This Rm dash becomes what? Minus y. Because this Rm dash is same as this OQ dash. So here we have taken what in this point, we have taken which quadrant? Third quadrant. To get this, to reach this R point, we are moving along negative x-axis, x units, along negative y-axis, y units. So distance is x and y correct only, but algebraic distances are minus x and minus y. That's why the coordinates of R becomes minus x comma minus y. So why I'm explaining all this? Because again I'm using these things in 3D also. So that's why just explained this 2D geometry. Hope you understand what is the difference between distance and algebraic distance. But what is the distance between O and M dash is x only. But what is the algebraic distance? Minus x. What is the distance between O and M? X only. But what is the algebraic distance between O and M? That is also x. Because here we have taken M is a point along positive x-axis. Okay. Similarly here, Q dash is a point on negative y-axis. This OQ dash becomes what? Algebraic distance between O and Q dash becomes minus y. Whereas distance between O and Q dash is y only. Okay. Now, consider two mutually perpendicular lines x dash OX, y O y dash, which are intersecting at O. So what is the name of this line? X-axis. And what is the name of this line? Y-axis. These two are mutually perpendicular lines. Now you consider one more line which is perpendicular to both x-axis and y-axis. So is it possible to draw such a line in the same plane? Is it possible to draw a line which is perpendicular to both x-axis and y-axis in the same plane, nothing but in the same board? Because board is also nothing but a plane only. So it is not possible. Okay, so just you imagine the direction of this marker is the third line which is passing through O and perpendicular to both x-axis and y-axis. Okay, so it is perpendicular to x-axis and also perpendicular to y-axis. So, and the name of this line is what? Z-axis. Okay, so x dash O x is x-axis. This y O y dash is y-axis. This z O z dash is z-axis. Okay. Now these three lines are what? Mutually perpendicular lines. These three lines are also called coordinate axes. Okay. These three lines forms three coordinate planes, and those coordinate planes are mutually perpendicular. And what are those three mutually perpendicular coordinate planes? XY plane, that means the plane which is passing through x-axis and y-axis. So which plane is passing through both x-axis and y-axis? See, z-axis you have to imagine like this. So z-axis is not lies on the plane, this board. Okay. So this board is passing through what, which axis? X-axis and y-axis. So this board is called what? XY plane. Next, the plane which is passing through y-axis and z-axis is called YZ plane. So which axis is passing through y-axis and z-axis? So the plane passing through y-axis and z-axis is this. You have to imagine like this. So this plane is the YZ plane. Now the plane which is passing through x-axis and z-axis is called XZ plane or ZX plane. So which plane is passing through both x-axis and z-axis? This is the x, this is the z. This is the z, this is the x. So that ZX plane will be like this. Okay. XY plane is board. XY plane is board. YZ plane is like this. And ZX plane is like this. So if you observe, these three planes are mutually perpendicular. And these three planes are called what? Coordinate planes. These three planes together is called what? Coordinate planes. And these three coordinate planes divides the total space into 8 equal parts. How many parts? 8 equal parts. Each part is called what? Octant. Each part is called what? Octant. Okay. So there will be 8 octants. The first octant is, this is Z. This is O. So this is O, this is Z, and this backside of board is Z dash. Okay. Then this OX, OY, OZ. This part is first octant. Then this part, second octant. This part, third octant. This part, fourth octant. Backside also, backside of the board also same figure will come now. Okay. So the backside of this first octant is 5th octant. For second, backside of the second octant is 6th octant. Backside of this third octant is 7th octant, and backside of this 4th octant is 8th octant. So I think you have learned all these things in 11th standard also. Just briefly, I'm recalling. So to understand this 3D geometry, so you need to have imagination power. Those who have imagination power, they can understand easily. And moreover, while listening, this 3D geometry become very easy. But while doing, some of the problems will feel difficult. So practice well to make this topic easy. So I'm trying to explain from basic level so that you can understand the concepts thoroughly. So moreover, there is a very important topic for IIT also. In mains, 2 questions. In advanced is a very important topic. Even KCET also, they're asking minimum 3 questions. And for board exam also, it is very important area. Okay, so that's why it is a very important topic. So thoroughly you practice. Okay, next. So those are the octants. Okay, then how we can define the point P is x, y, z. Okay, how we can define the coordinates of P are x, y, z. So the coordinates of P become x, y, z if you move x units along x-axis, y units along y-axis, z units along z-axis direction. Then this point becomes x, y, z. Okay, suppose if x is a negative, so you have to move x units backward direction, y units along positive y-axis, z units along positive z-axis direction. Suppose y and z are positive, x is negative. Then the point will be in second octant. So minus x, y, z lies in second octant. Suppose both x, y are negative, but z is positive. So then you have to move x units along x-axis, negative x-axis direction because it's negative, and y units along negative y-axis and z units along positive x-axis, sorry, positive z-axis. That means minus x minus y z lies in which octant? Third octant. Similarly, fourth octant becomes what? X is positive, y negative, z positive. Okay, so first octant all are positive, second octant x negative, third octant both x and y negative, last octant, sorry, fourth octant y negative. In the same way, remaining 4 octants you can argue. In the remaining 4 octants, z is a negative. Okay, so suppose if you want to take a point in the 5th octant, how it will be? So you have to move x units along positive x-axis, y units along positive y-axis direction, z units along negative z-axis direction. Then the point becomes x, y minus z. That means in 5th octant, x and y are positive, z is negative. Likewise, 6th octant, 7th octant, 8th octant, we can find the signs. In 7th octant, all are negative. That is x coordinate, y coordinate, z coordinate, all are negative. That means minus 2, minus 3, minus 4 lies in which octant? It is lies in 7th octant. Okay. So because we have to move 2 units along negative x-axis, 3 units along negative y-axis, 4 units along negative z-axis. Then it will be lies in which octant? 7th octant. Okay. So in 7th octant, all coordinates are negative. X coordinate, y coordinate, z coordinate of any point is 0. Now, what if a point on x-axis? To get this point, I have to move x units along x-axis only. I'm not moving along y-axis direction and z-axis direction. That means if you take any point on x-axis, it is in the form of x comma 0 comma 0. Similarly, on y-axis, 0 comma y comma 0. Similarly, on z-axis, any point will be in the form of 0 comma 0 comma z. Here x and y, x, y, z are some variables. Okay. Any point on x-axis is of the form x 0 0. Any point on y-axis is of the form 0, y, 0. Any point on z-axis is of the form 0, 0, z. So that's why the equation of x-axis becomes y is equal to 0 and z is equal to 0. The equation of x-axis is y is equal to 0 and z is equal to 0. Because on x-axis, if you take on x-axis any point, y coordinate 0 and z coordinate 0. That means if you take any point on x-axis, it satisfies these two equations. That's why equation of x-axis can be concluded as y is equal to 0 and z is equal to 0. So once if you learn equation of x-axis, you will get equation of y-axis, equation of z-axis, just using symmetry. The equation of y-axis will be what? Yes, z is equal to 0 and x is equal to 0. And what is the equation of z-axis? Yes, x is equal to 0 and y is equal to 0. Okay. Next. Now if you take a point on xy plane, that means I'm taking a point on the board. I'm taking a point on the board. Then I have to move x units along x-axis direction, y units along y-axis direction, but I'm not moving in the z-axis direction. That means z coordinate become what? 0. So that means any point on xy plane in the form of what? X, y, 0. Okay, then because of this reason, equation of xy plane, equation of xy plane become z is equal to 0. Sorry, because if you take any point on the xy plane, z coordinate of that point is 0. Z coordinate of that point is 0. So that means every point on the xy plane satisfies which equation? Z is equal to 0. Okay, these are very, very basic. Okay, next, similarly, what is the equation of yz plane? So just symmetry. Xy plane is z is equal to 0. Yz plane will become x is equal to 0. And equation of zx plane is, what you will get? Y is equal to 0. See, in x, y, z. In xy plane, x, y, z, z is missing. So z is equal to 0. You remember like this. Equation of xy plane is z is equal to 0. Equation of yz plane is x is equal to 0. Equation of zx plane is y is equal to 0. Okay, I think you understand. Okay. Next, you have learned distance formula, derivation of distance formula. I'm going to derive the distance formula, okay, using vectors. Using vectors, how we can find the distance between the 2 points. So derivation is not important, but whatever I'm going the procedure, that procedure may be useful in further problems. That's why I'm deriving this distance formula, also section formula. Okay, so first, distance formula. Distance between 2 points. Suppose P point is, P coordinates are x1, y1, z1. Okay, and the Q coordinates are x2, y2, z2. And let the distance between P and Q is d. Now we have to find d value. Okay, suppose O is the origin. Then OP bar becomes what? Position vector of P. Am I correct? And the position vector of P, OP bar is equal to what you will get? X1 into I cap plus Y1 into J cap plus Z1 into K cap. Am I correct? Similarly, join OQ bar. OQ bar becomes what? Position vector of Q. So OQ bar is equal to what you will get? X2 into I cap plus Y2 into J cap plus Z2 into K cap. But we have to find what? PQ length. That PQ length is nothing but magnitude of the vector PQ bar. Am I correct? The magnitude of the vector PQ bar is nothing but the length of PQ. Or you can take QP bar also. The length of PQ bar and the length of QP bar both are equal only, no? So I'm finding PQ bar. Using triangle law, PQ bar can be written as what? OQ bar minus OP bar. Am I correct? So this is the OQ, this is the OP. If you do this OQ bar minus OP bar, what you will get? X2 I cap minus X1 I cap. If you take I common, what you get? X2 minus X1 into I cap. Similarly, what you will get next? Y2 minus Y1 into J cap. Next, what you will get? Z2 minus Z1 into K cap. So this is the PQ bar. So next, D is equal to distance between P and Q, which is equal to magnitude of the vector PQ bar. So how to find magnitude of the vector PQ bar? So magnitude of, what is the magnitude of the vector A into I cap plus B into J cap plus C into K cap? Have you learned? So what do you have to do? Square root of A square plus B square plus C square. Am I correct? So magnitude of this vector is equal to square root of A square. What is A here? X2 minus X1. A square means what you will get? X2 minus X1 whole square. Plus B square means what you will get? Y2 minus Y1 whole square. Plus C square means what you will get? Z2 minus Z1 whole square. So this is the distance between the given points P, X1, Y1, Z1 and Q, X2, Y2, Z2 is equal to square root of X2 minus X1 whole square plus Y2 minus Y1 whole square plus Z2 minus Z1 whole square. Okay. So what if one of the point is origin? If one of the point is origin and another point is P, X, Y, Z. So using again the same formula, what do you get? Distance between the points O and P. Instead of X1, Y1, Z1, we have 0, 0, 0. Instead of X2, Y2, Z2, what do we have? X, Y, Z. If you substitute those values here, what do you get? X minus 0 whole square, X square. Y minus 0 whole square, Y square. Z minus 0 whole square, Z square. So this is the distance between a point from the origin. Okay. OP is the square root of X square plus Y square plus Z square. Okay. Next, I'm going to derive section formula again using vectors. Okay. And before that, I want to explain some points. Okay. Suppose given point P is X, Y, Z. The distance from origin is what we have? Root over X square plus Y square plus Z square. Then what is the distance of P? What is the distance of P from the line x-axis? From the line x-axis is equal to. Okay. So what is that distance? So let me explain. So this is X, Z, Y, O. So P is X, Y, Z. So you have to imagine this P point not on the board. P point is here, somewhere here in the space. Okay, I can't write here in the space now. That is why I'm writing the P point on the board. Okay, P is not on the board. P is a point in the space. So from that point, you draw a perpendicular. Okay, then Q becomes foot of this perpendicular, which is drawn from P to the x-axis. Now clearly Q lies on x-axis. Then coordinates of Q becomes what? X, 0, 0. Now the distance between point P to the x-axis is same as the distance between the points P and Q. So using distance formula, what you will get? Square root of x minus x whole square, 0. Y minus 0 whole square, Y square. Z minus 0 whole square, Z square. Similarly, the distance of P from y-axis. So from x-axis, what you got? Y square plus z square under root. So by looking at this, you can say easily, from y-axis, what is the distance of this point? Square root of x square plus z square. The distance from z-axis to the point P is square root of x square plus y square. Not necessary to by heart learn. So here x, y, z, Nelly, x is here. What is missing? Y and z. So square root of y square plus z square. Remember like this. Enough. So from y-axis, x, z missing. Square root of x square plus z square. Distance of P from z-axis. Square root of x square plus y square. Distance of the point P from x-axis is this. From y-axis is this. From z-axis is this. Okay. Example. Suppose if I take P point is a 3, 4, 5. Then what is the distance of P from the x-axis? First question, from the x-axis is, this is x, y, z. Square root of what? Y square plus z square. That is 4 square plus 5 square. Square root of 16 plus 25, how much? 16 plus 25 is 41. Similarly, from y-axis, what will get? Square root of 3 square plus 5 square. So 25 plus 9, 34. From z-axis is square root of 3 square plus 4 square. So square root of 25, which is equal to 5. So that was the answer. Okay. Next two. These are the formulas about distance of P from x-axis, y-axis, z-axis. Nothing but coordinate axis. What about coordinate planes? The distance of P from the coordinate planes. Nothing but x, y, z, and zx planes. Okay. From xy plane is the distance of P from xy plane. Okay. So P point is here. From P you have to draw a perpendicular. So P is here. From point P, x, y, z. You have to find what? Distance of P, x, y, z from xy plane. So imagine P point is here. From that point P you draw a perpendicular. That perpendicular, that foot of the perpendicular, let it be Q. P is here. So wherever the duster is there, that is the position of P. So, or you keep like this. So wherever the cap is there, that cap position is P. From P I have drawn a perpendicular on xy plane. So coordinates of this cap is what? P is equal to x, y, z. If you draw a perpendicular on xy plane, then that foot of the perpendicular coordinates. Q becomes the foot of the perpendicular drawn from point P to the xy plane. Then coordinates of this foot becomes x, y, 0. Correct? Because it is lies in which axis? Sorry, it is lies in which plane? XY plane. So Z will be what? 0. Now the distance between P point and Q point is nothing but the distance between the point P and XY plane. Just you find, using distance formula, you find distance between P and Q. So distance between P and Q, what you will get? Square root of x minus x whole square, 0. Square root of y minus y whole square, 0. Square root of z minus z minus 0 whole square, z square. So the square root of z square. Or you can remember modulus of z. Why I am keeping under modulus? Because distance should not be negative. So z may be positive or negative, but the distance should not be negative. So to avoid that negativity, I am keeping under modulus. So from xy plane, what do you got? Mod z. Similarly, the distance of the point from yz plane, what you will get? Tell me, Nana. Yes, it is modulus of x. From zx plane, is what you'll get, modulus of y. Okay, so look at one example. Suppose the given point is -3, 4, -5. So distance of P from the xy plane. So in x, y, z, null, which is missing here? Z. So answer is what? Modulus of z, or you can remember square root of z square. Okay, square root of z square is square root of 25. Square root of 25 is 5. Or if you can remember directly, so it is the z coordinate. What is the z coordinate? -5. But distance should not be negative enough, so you have to take absolute value. What is the absolute value of -5? 5. Similarly, the distance of P from YZ plane, it is x coordinate. What is the x coordinate? Absolute value of x coordinate? 3. Actually, you have to take what? Modulus of -3, because modulus of x in the formula, modulus of -3. Modulus of -3 is same as modulus of 3, which is equal to 3. Similarly, next from zx plane. So from zx plane, what will be the distance? Modulus of y, nothing but modulus of 4, which is equal to 4. Okay. So next to section formula. So already you have learned this section formula in vectors also. That's why I'm not going to derive here. Okay. So suppose here this is a point P, coordinates whose coordinates are x1, y1, z1. This is the point, say Q coordinates are x2, y2, z2. So say this is the point capital R, which divides the segment PQ in the ratio m1 is to m2 internally. Then coordinates of R becomes what? m1 x2 plus m2 x1 by m1 plus m2. Similarly, y coordinate becomes what? m1 y2 plus m2 y1 divided by m1 plus m2. Next, z coordinate m1 z2 plus m2 z1 by m1 plus m2. This is for internal division. For external division, instead of plus sign, what you have to keep? Minus. Okay. Suppose if this R point is a midpoint of PQ. If R is the midpoint of PQ. If it is a midpoint, then PR length is same as RQ length. That is, PR is to RQ becomes what? 1 is to 1. That means this M1 value and M2 value becomes 1. And M1 is to M2 is equal to 1 is to 1. So in this formula, you have to replace M1 and M2 by what? 1. If you replace M1 and M2 by 1, what you will get? 1 into X2 plus 1 into X1 by 1 plus 1. So that is nothing but X1 plus X2 by 2. Next, Y1 plus Y2 by 2. Z coordinate Z1 plus Z2 by 2. Okay. Next, points of trisection. Points of trisection. That means, suppose say PQ is the given segment. The points which divide this segment into 3 equal parts, those points are called points of trisection or trisecting points. Suppose say R and S are the 2 points which divide the segment PQ into 3 equal parts. That means PR is to RS is to SQ is 1 is to 1 is to 1. Then from this figure clearly R divides PQ in the ratio 1 is to 2. Am I correct? Because R divides PQ in the ratio PR is to RQ. So PR is 1 part, RQ is 2 parts. 1 plus 1, 2. Then S divides PQ in the ratio what? PS is to SQ. Clearly PS is 2 parts and SQ is 1. So what will be the definition? The points which divide the segment PQ in the ratio 1 is to 2 and 2 is to 1, those points are called trisecting points. Okay. Next, centroid of the triangle. So we are familiar with the definition of median of a triangle. So what is the definition of median of a triangle? Suppose ABC is a triangle. Then the segment joining from a vertex to midpoint of its opposite side. Midpoint of its opposite side. That segment is called what? Median of the triangle. Obviously, how many vertices are there for a triangle? 3. Obviously, there will be 3 medians. And these 3 medians are concurrent at one point. These 3 medians are concurrent at one point. And that point of intersection or that point of concurrency is denoted by G. That G is called centroid of the triangle. So that means centroid is nothing but what? It is the point of intersection of medians. Point of intersection of medians. Okay. So now how to find coordinates of centroid if you know the coordinates of the vertices of triangle. Suppose A is x1, y1, z1. B coordinates are x2, y2, z2. C coordinates are x3, y3, z3. So also from the geometry we know that this centroid divides each median in the ratio 2 is to 1 internally. That is AG is to GM is 2 is to 1. PG is to GN is 2 is to 1. CG is to GP is also 2 is to 1. So A point is what? X1, Y1, Z1. And M is what? It is the midpoint of BC. Using midpoint formula, what you will get the coordinates of what you will get the coordinates of M? X2 plus X3 by 2, comma Y2 plus Y3 by 2, Z2 plus Z3 by 2. Okay. So now centroid divide this median in the ratio what? 2 is to 1. Using section formula, you will get centroid coordinates. I am writing directly. Okay. So 2 into this plus 1 into this divided by 2 plus 1. If you do that, you will get x1 plus x2 plus x3 by 3. Similarly, y coordinate is y1 plus y2 plus y3 by 3. And z coordinate is z1 plus z2 plus z3 by 3. This is the centroid of the triangle. Okay. So example, if you take some example, suppose A point is given 1, 2, 3. B point is given 2, 4, 6. C point is given 3, 7, minus 2. Okay. What is the centroid of the triangle whose vertices are A, B and C? So what is the centroid formula? This is the only centroid formula. So nothing but what? It is the average of x coordinates of the vertices, comma, average of y coordinates of the vertices, average of z coordinates of the vertices. Okay. What is the average of x coordinates? That is nothing but x1 plus x2 plus x3 by 3. 1 plus 2, 3. 3 plus 3, 6 by 3. y1 plus y2 plus y3 by 3. That is 2 plus 4, 6. 6 plus 7, 13 by 3. z1 plus z2 plus z3 by 3. 3 plus 6, 9. 9 minus 2, 7 by 3. So those are the coordinates of centroid of the triangle. Okay, next, how to find centroid of the tetrahedron. So tetrahedron. So this tetrahedron is a 3D figure. This tetrahedron is a 3D figure. So we can't draw this tetrahedron figure in a plane, nothing but on the board, because board is also a plane only. No? So I'm trying to explain that shape of the tetrahedron right now. Okay. So first you draw the triangle. Okay. This tetrahedron has total 4 vertices, and those 4 points are non-coplanar points. That means all those 4 points doesn't lie on the same plane. So A, B, C, I have taken 3 points. So it is a triangle. Now imagine D will be here. D is here in the space. Then join AD, BD and CD. Join AD, BD and CD. D is the point in the space. Join AD, CD and BD. So that is the shape of the tetrahedron. Okay. So that tetrahedron has how many vertices? 4 vertices. A, B, C, D. Okay. How many sides? Total 6 sides. AB, AC, BC, AD, BD, CD. How many faces? 4 faces. And each face is a triangle. The first face is ABC triangle. Next face is ABD triangle. Next one is BCD triangle, ACD triangle. Or you take one triangle ABC. You tie the thread at A, at the vertex A, at the vertex B and at the vertex C. And pull all those 3 threads like this. Then automatically base is already what? Triangle. Base is what? Already triangle ABC. D is here. Then total how many faces will get? 4 faces. Each face is what? Triangle. How many triangles it has? Means how many faces it has? 4 faces. First face is base ABC triangle. Next face is ABD. Next one is BCD. The last one is ACD. So that is the shape of tetrahedron. And in tetrahedron, median, how it is defined? Median, how it is defined? Okay. So the median of the tetrahedron, it is defined as, it is a segment joining one vertex of the tetrahedron to centroid of the opposite triangle. Centroid of the opposite triangle. That is one median. As tetrahedron has 4 vertices and 4 faces, automatically how many medians will exist? 4 medians. And all these 4 medians are intersecting at one point. That point is called centroid of the tetrahedron. Okay. Suppose if you take D is here, centroid of the triangle ABC is G1, then DG1 is one median. What is G1 here? Centroid of triangle ABC. Suppose G2 is centroid of triangle ACD, then CG2 is another median. Next, G3 is the centroid of the triangle ABD, then here BG2, okay. CG3 becomes another median. G4 is the centroid of the triangle BCD, then AG4 is another median. All these 4 are the medians, and 4 medians are intersect at one point. That intersecting point is denoted by G, which is called centroid. And from the geometry, this centroid divides each of these medians in the ratio 3:1 internally. 3:1 internally. So to get the coordinates of centroid of the tetrahedron, first we have to find coordinates of what? G1, G2, G3, G4. Okay. So first, let us assume the coordinates of A are x1, y1, z1. Similarly, coordinates of B are x2, y2, z2. Coordinates of C are x3, y3, z3. Coordinates of D are x4, y4, z4. So now G1 I'm finding. G1 is what? Centroid of the triangle ABC. What is the centroid of the triangle ABC? Just now we have learned. It is nothing but what? X coordinate of the centroid is nothing but what? It is the average of X coordinates of ABC. Next to Y, average of Y coordinates. Next to average of Z coordinates. So G1 point, what do you get? X1 plus X2 plus X3 by 3. Next, Y1 plus Y2 plus Y3 by 3. Next, Z1 plus Z2 plus Z3 by 3. So this is G1. You find any one of centroids, not necessary to find all centroids. Okay. Now, the centroid of the tetrahedron. Capital G is what? Centroid of the tetrahedron. It divides the segment A and G, sorry, D and G1. D and G1 in the ratio what? 3 is to 1. So this is G, 3 is to 1. Then coordinates of centroid G, how we can find? Using section formula. So what do you have? What is the section formula? M1 x2 plus M2 x1 by M1 plus M2, like that y coordinate, z coordinate. If you apply that formula, you will get, sorry, you will get centroid coordinates are x1 plus x2 plus x3 plus x4 by 4. Similarly, y coordinate will be what? y1 plus y2 plus y3 plus y4 by 4. So simply I am writing sigma y1 by 4. And z coordinate, what you will get? z1 plus z2 plus z3 plus z4 by 4. So this is the formula to find centroid of the tetrahedron whenever the vertices of the triangle ABC are given. Hope you understand. Okay. So now I'm going to explain some problems which were in our material. Page number 30.2. Page number 30.2. Example 1. So what is that example 1 is given? P is a variable point and the coordinates of 2 points A and B are given -2, 2, 3, and B is equal to 13, -3, 13 respectively. Find the locus of P if P satisfies the equation 3 times of PA is equal to 2 times of PB. 3 times of PA is equal to 2 times of PB. Here the name of the locus is sphere. Name of the locus is sphere. Okay. So squaring under. So here P is a point on the locus. We have to find locus of the point P only. So let us consider the coordinates of P are x, y, z. Okay. So 3 into PA. So using this geometrical condition, we have to find locus of the point P. Okay. So 3 into PA. Distance between what is P and A? Using distance formula, what will get square root of x plus 2 whole square? Am I correct? Y minus 2 whole square plus y minus 2 whole square plus z minus 3 whole square is equal to, again, so 2 into square root of PB, distance between P and B. What will get? X minus 13 whole square plus y plus 3 whole square plus z minus 13 whole square. So both sides squaring on both sides. Squaring on both sides. If you square on both sides and simplify, sorry, if you square on both sides and simplify, what you will get. That is what I'm going to write directly. Here first term what you get 9x square here 4x square. So you get 5x square next to 5y square plus 5z square. Next to here 9 fours are 36. Here 4 into minus 13 52. 4 into 26 minus 104. So here 3 fours are 12. Here 2 into minus 26 52. So 52 means you'll get 64x. Next here 3 into minus 4 minus 12. Here 2 into 6 12. That 12 if it come that side minus 24y. Next to here 9 into 11. Here I think I did wrong. Here 9 into 4 minus 36. This is also wrong. I will do once again. So 9 into 4 36. 4 into 26 minus 104 means 1 plus 104. So 140x. Next to 9 into minus 4 minus 36. 4 into 6 24 minus 24 minus 60y. Next to 9 into minus 9 minus 81. So 9 into minus 6 minus 54. 4 into minus 26 minus 104. So minus 158 into z. So 4 plus 4 9, 9 plus 9. So 4 plus 4 8, 8 plus 9 17. So 17 minus 9 8. 8 minus 338 minus 330 is equal to 0. So somehow you will get an equation in this form. If you square on both sides and simplify, you will get this equation. And what is the name of this locus? It is a sphere. Okay. Next. Second problem. Page number 30.3. Page number 30.3. Example 2. Page number 30.3. Example 2. So what is the example 2 is given? So it is given find the ratio in which xy plane divides the join of minus 3, 4, minus 8 and 5, minus 6, 4. So in what ratio xy plane divides the segment joining the given points? Let the given points are A and B. Suppose this is the say xy plane. So point A is here, suppose point B is here. So join this. So suppose they are intersecting say at P, then we have to find AP is to PB. We have to find which ratio? AP is to PB. And also we have to find in this problem that point of intersection. Say that the point of intersection of the segment and the XY plane is P. Okay, this is the XY plane and this is the segment AB. Okay, so treat like a paper, then we are keeping like this. This is the segment AB. Wherever they are intersecting, that intersecting point is P. Now we have to find AP is to this PB ratio. Okay, so AP is to PB. How we can find? Suppose P divides AB in the ratio K is to 1. Suppose P divides the segment AB in the ratio K is to 1. Then the coordinates of P becomes, using section formula, I'm going to find coordinates of P. So what are the coordinates of B? 5, minus 6, 4. And A, minus 3, 4, minus 8. Using that formula, section formula, what will get? K into 5. 5K minus 3. 5K minus 3 divided by K plus 1. Next, K into minus 6 plus 1 into 4. So minus 6K, 1 into 4 is 4 divided by K plus 1. Next, K into 4, 4K plus 1 into minus 8 divided by K plus 1. Okay, so this is the coordinates of P. But here if you observe clearly, P lies on which plane? XY plane. So on XY plane, which is 0? z is equal to 0, because on xy, if you take any point in the xy plane, z coordinate must be what? 0. That's why I explained from 11th standard onwards. So that if you are strong in basics in 3D geometry especially, then this topic will become somewhat easy. Okay. Now P lies on which axis? Sorry, P lies on which plane? XY plane. Then automatically z coordinate of P must be 0. Pz means z coordinate of P. What is the z coordinate of P? 4k minus 8 by k plus 1, 0. So k plus 1 cross multiply, what you'll get? 4k minus 8 is equal to 0. On simplifying, what you'll get? K is equal to 2. So thus that required ratio is equal to what we have assumed, k is to 1. That is 2 is to 1. That means xy plane divides the segment joining the given points in the ratio 2 is to 1 internally. Suppose if you got k value negative, say minus 2, the ratio becomes what? Minus 2 is to 1, and you have to understand that division is external. If you got k value minus 2, ratio will be minus 2 is to 1 or 2 is to 1 externally. Okay. If you got positive, it is internal division. And also we have to find point. That means we have to find coordinates of P also. So coordinates of P becomes, so substitute k value 2 in here. So 5 2s are 10. 10 minus 3, 7. Divided by 2 plus 1, 3. Next, k value 2 if you substitute here, minus 6 into 2, minus 12, plus 4, minus 8 by 3. Obviously this point becomes what? 0. So for this, shortcut is also there. So what is the shortcut? Suppose A coordinates are x1, y1, z1. B coordinates are x2, y2, z2. To get this ratio, we have shortcut also. Okay, we have shortcut also. So the ratio in which xy plane divides the segment AB. The segment AB is where A coordinates are x1, y1, z1, B coordinates are x2, y2, z2 is equal to minus, here in x, y, z, what is missing now? Z is missing now, minus z1 is to z2. Okay, so here what is z1? Minus 8. What is z2? 4 in this problem. Okay, so required ratio, what I said, minus z1 is to z2. That is minus of minus 8, because z1 is what? Minus 8 is to z2 is 4. So which is equal to 8 is to 4, that is equal to 2 is to 1. You got the same ratio, 2 is to 1. So what if yz plane? If instead of xy plane, yz plane is given. Yz plane is given. What will be the ratio? Here, which term missing in xyz? X is missing. So required ratio is minus x1 is to x2. And what about zx plane? So zx plane divide the segment AB in the ratio what? Minus y1 is to y2. Okay. So these are the shortcut formulas. Okay. Remember these shortcut formulas. Next, in 30.3, look at the third problem. So in 30.3, example 3, so look at that problem. What is here? Let ABCD is a square of side length A units. Its side AB slides between X and Y axis in first quadrant. Find the locus of the foot of the perpendicular dropped from the point E on the diagonal AC, where E is a midpoint of the side AD. Okay, so draw the coordinate axis, sorry, X and Y. So according to the question, the side AB slides on XY, X-axis and Y-axis. Suppose A is lies on Y-axis, B lies on X-axis. Okay, so complete the square. So complete the square A, B, C, D. So obviously this angle is how much? 90. So let it be this angle is theta. So this is theta, this is 90, this angle becomes what? 90 minus theta. So this is the diagonal AC. So midpoint of AD is E. So from E what we did? We have drawn a perpendicular on AC. So this F becomes what? Foot of the perpendicular, which is drawn from the point E. What is E? Midpoint of AD on the diagonal AC. Now we have to find the locus of F. As ABCD is a square and AC is a diagonal, then diagonal is become what? Angular bisector of the sides AB and AD only. So this whole angle is 90, means this angle becomes what? Half of 90, which is 45 degrees. Now we have to find locus of F. To get the locus of F, first I'm finding coordinates of A, coordinates of C in terms of theta. Then also I'm finding AF is to FC, so that I will, using section formula, I can find F coordinates. From that I can find locus of F. So this is the idea. So, so what is the side of the square? A units. So this is the angle theta. So this is the adjacent side of this right angle triangle OAB. So this adjacent side becomes what? A times of sine theta only, because hypotenuse is what? A. And this opposite side becomes what? A cos theta. And if you draw a perpendicular from C to x-axis, say this point is G, okay, then this BG becomes adjacent side of this right triangle CBG. In this right triangle, this BG is what? Adjacent side, and this hypotenuse is what? A, because it is the side of the square. And this BG becomes what? That BC value becomes what? As it is adjacent side, A times of cos of what is, sorry, adjacent side. No? I did wrong. Here adjacent side is what? A cos theta. Opposite side is what? A sin theta. So here adjacent side becomes what? A cos of angle theta. Here instead of theta what we have? 90 minus theta. So cos of 90 minus theta is what? Sin theta. So this BC length becomes what? A sin theta. Okay. Now this OA length is A sin theta and A lies on y-axis. So coordinates of A becomes 0, comma A sin theta. And coordinates of C. So this OG length becomes what? A cos theta plus A sin theta. A cos theta plus A sin theta, which is the x coordinate of C. A cos theta plus A sin theta. Comma, what is the y coordinate of C? CG. So this is the what? Opposite side of this right triangle. So this opposite side value becomes what? A into sine of theta. Here theta is what? 90 minus theta. So which is equal to A cos theta. That is nothing but y coordinate of C. A cos theta. Next. As E is a midpoint of AD, this AE length, half of A. Half of A means nothing but A by 2. Okay. So this angle is 45 now. This EF length becomes what? A by 2 into sine 45. EF length is A by 2 into sine 45. Similarly, AF length is A by 2 into cos 45. How we got A by 2 into cos 45? In this right triangle, AF is adjacent side. So that adjacent side is what? A by hypotenuse into cos theta. So A by 2 into cos 45. Cos 45 value is how much? 1 by root 2. So A by 2 into 1 by root 2 is A by 2 root 2. So next, AC is equal to what? AF plus FC. Am I correct? Because I'm going to find further FC length. Okay, so that I can find AF is to FC, which is the ratio, required ratio. AC is nothing but diagonal. Length of the diagonal is what? Root 2 times of the side of the square. That is root 2A. But what you got? AF value? A by 2 root 2. Plus FC. We don't know. We have to find FC value only. So from this FC, if you find FC is equal to what you'll get? Root 2 times of A minus A by 2 root 2. So if you take 2 root 2 LCM, 2 root 2 into root 2, 4. A minus A, 3A by 2 root 2. So now you got AF length and FC length. You can find AF is to FC. AF is A by 2 root 2. FC is 3A by 2 root 2. So 1 A by 2 root 2, A by root 2 root 2 get cancelled. So what you'll get required ratio? 1 is to 3. So F divides AC in the ratio 1 is to 3. So using section formula, you can find coordinates of F. So let the coordinates of F are x comma y. So that is equal to, using section formula, what you'll get? 1 into C plus 3 into A divided by 1 plus 3. So using section formula, I'm writing directly. So 1 into A cos theta plus 3 into 0, 3 into 0 divided by 1 plus 3, 4. Next, 1 into C coordinate, y. Y coordinate is what? I think I did wrong, sorry. Using section formula, A coordinates are what? 0, comma A sin theta. C coordinates are this only. No? So we have to use section formula, no? 1 into C. That is 1 into A cos theta plus A sin theta plus 3 into A. So 3 into 0, 0. Divided by 1 plus 3 is 4. Next what you'll get? 1 into y coordinate. What is the y coordinate? A sin theta plus 3 into y coordinate of A sin. 1 into C na A cos theta. 1 into C, A cos theta plus 3 into A sin theta divided by 1 plus 3. So once again, if you observe, the ratio is what? 1 is to 3 na. So 1 into A cos theta plus A sin theta plus 3 into 0 divided by 1 plus 3, 4. Correct? Next, 1 into y coordinate, A cos theta, 3 into A sin theta, 3A sin theta divided by 1 plus 3, 4. So equating x coordinates, A into cos theta plus sin theta by 4. So from this you will get cos theta plus sin theta is equal to 4x by A. How I got this? Here I have taken A common, that's it. Okay. Next, equating y coordinates. Y is equal to what I will get here. What is common? A common. A into cos theta plus 3 sin theta divided by 4. Cross multiply A by 4. Then what you will get? 4y by A is equal to cos theta plus 3 sin theta. So let it be equation 1. This is equation 2. Now we have to find locus of f. That is, we have to find locus of x and y. Here we are getting x and y values in terms of sin theta and cos theta. These are nothing but parametric equations. Okay. So now solving equation 1 and equation 2. From that I am finding cos theta and sin theta value, then eliminating theta, so that you will get the locus of f. So how I can? So just you do like this. Equation 2 minus equation 1. Cos theta will get cancelled. So 3 sin theta minus sin theta, what you will get? 2 sin theta is equal to what you will get? 4y by A minus 4x by A. So that is equal to 4 by a into y minus x. So from this sine theta is equal to what you'll get? 2 by a into y minus x. So let it be equation 3. Next, so you substitute this value either in equation 1 and find cos theta, or else multiply equation 1 by 3, then subtract from 2. So 3 into equation 1 minus equation 2. Then 3 cos theta minus cos theta, what you'll get? 2 cos theta. 3 sin theta minus 3 sin theta get cancelled. So RHS, what you'll get? 3 into 4x by a, nothing but 12x by a, minus, here RHS is what? 4y by a. So cos theta is equal to, divide with 2, then what you'll get? 6x by a minus 2y by a. So further, what is common? 2 is common, 2 by a is common, what will get? 3x minus y. Now eliminating theta from 3 and 4 to get locus. So how we can eliminate? What is the relation between cos theta and sin theta? What is the identity related to cos theta and sin theta? Cos square theta plus sin square theta is equal to 1. So what is cos square theta value? This number square, this quantity square, what you'll get? 2 by a whole square is 4 by a square into 3x minus y whole square plus sin square theta. Means this quantity whole square, what you'll get? 2 by a whole square is 4 by a square into y minus x whole square is equal to 1. So this is the required locus of f. This is the required locus. Thank you.